Hello, everybody, and welcome to day number 2 of your chakra class. Today, we are going to be talking about the sacral chakra, the Svadhisthana, and this is the chakra of I feel. We are going to get started here. So, I want to just talk really briefly. We're going to give a little bit of information about where the sacral chakra is located and a little bit of information about the sacral chakra. And then we'll go through a little tune in and check in with that chakra. Okay, so the sacral chakra is located above the root. It is the chakra that's connected to our reproductive glands. And this chakra is our holding space of emotions and creativity. It is associated with the color orange. And when we have difficulty expressing emotions, or maybe we can't feel our emotions, or we're completely out of touch of pleasure, and we hold unprocessed anger, and this is a sign that our sacral is out of alignment. So we may feel stifled in our creativity. You might be resentful for not being able to birth your new ideas into the world. This is a place where we create. Just like the womb creates a child, this is where we create ideas, where creativity comes from. We also might have issues with a relationship, feeling unstable or unhealthy around aspects of your sexuality as well. This is a big part of the sacral, is the sexuality. There might also be feelings of shame, or this chakra is a big space where we carry a lot of our issues around money and abundance, either in placing an overemphasis on it, or with obtaining material goods, or maybe not owning and not having enough. This chakra is developed from ages 6 months to 2 years. So at age 6 months to 2 years is where we develop this one. And you might notice that with little ones, they're very much, that's kind of pardon me, that's age 6 months to 2 years is where they're really developing their emotions and understanding, connecting with emotions. That's why we call it the terrible twos. Although in my 25 plus years of raising children, I can tell you that it's usually actually terrible ones to threes. That's where we notice like their emotions are really kind of coming out. And this is also a place where, like, if you notice, this is generally the stage for children too, where they get really clingy to mommy and really clingy to adults that they trust and love. This is a part of that, like, needing to bond and create those relationships. So if you were a 6 month to a 2-year-old and you didn't have a really good relationship with your parents, you weren't picked up and cuddled and loved, and you didn't feel that deep connection, that can create an alignment issue with your sacral chakra as well. So we need to navigate and understand that as the children might be expressing themselves a little bit more fully at age 2 or 1.5, and they're, having their fits or they're breaking down, emotions are just starting to really evolve in their body, and they're really starting to understand an emotional response receives a response from a guardian. And so they're really processing what those emotions might feel. So when we're trying to figure out those emotions in the body, we get confused and frustrated by them, hence the terrible twos. And then we are, unfortunately, maybe when you're little, you were having those moments and those meltdowns, and you were told, stop, that's enough, don't do that. So you're kind of told then to repress your emotions. Like, you don't get to express your emotions. I'll give an example. Yesterday, I was watching a 1.5-year-old, and I knew she was tired, but we were trying to play just to get some energy out. And oh man, was she tired. When she was playing and something wasn't going right, it was just the end of the world. She was falling back, having this grandiose fit, and just, frustration because she couldn't do something. And I just gave her the space, instead of being like, hey, stop it. That's enough. Obviously we know cognitively, like, you're throwing a fit for really no reason at all, right? We don't see that there needs to be a fit being thrown. But she needed to understand and process the emotions that are coming forward. So I had to give her that space. And I open it up and I allow and let it happen. And she's fine within a minute, right? That's how children process. They need to get through those emotions. When we're told not to express our emotions as children, even as you grow older, or when you did, you're corrected. You're calm down, and they don't want you to be reactive to things. That is a way that we're stuffing and just repressing and not understanding our emotions. So a lot of people in our generation and older really do need to connect more with our sacral, because we have been told, quiet, be still, no reaction. Um, and we need to understand and listen to our emotions and do some healing with them. So during this time is when we're all about discovery and creativity and discovering what creativity is and who we are. So if you, again, think about a 1.5-year-old who is, again, I'm watching a 1.5-year-old right now, loves her markers and is drawing on her paper, but then starts drawing on her skin a little bit. It's a washable marker. It's okay. It's going to come out. And just let them create. Let them have that space, because that's what her brain, that's what her sacral is doing right now. It's in a space of, well, I wonder if I can do something here with this marker, because I can create something cool on a piece of paper. So giving them just the options to create and be creative, and really, like, giving them some space with safety of trying to discover and figure things out themselves is really going to be a beautiful way for them to grow um, responsibility and harness this connection, and feel safety within their sacral chakra. So finding ways to connect with your sacral chakra is super important. So we want to find creative outlets, finding ways to express yourselves through creative arts. Unfortunately, we have traumas and abuse are really a main culprit to imbalanced chakras. Emotional abuse, physical abuse, and very much so sexual abuse. Alcoholic families, restrictions to movement as a child, if you were placed in a playpen for a long time or just didn't get to, like, move and do things. Neglect, having coldness from a relative or from your loved one, or rejection from a parent, maybe feeling or having inherited issues from parents that they've not worked out on their own. So that might be, you're kind of bringing in mom and dad's fear and shame and guilt, and their issues with money, or you're going to bring those things in to your life through your sacral, as you evolve, once you have been conceived, really, and then you inherit that as you're younger. So we also have issues that might be around sexuality and not being comfortable with our own sexuality. This can be very common, again, because we certainly, it's a taboo topic, so we don't talk about it that much. It was put upon many generations ago that self pleasure was the devil, and that we don't do those things, can have a religious connotation that stifles that connection with self. And then it also just, it's kind of a, we do associate, in our culture at least, a little bit of that disconnect of shame around sexuality. There is a responsibility of sexuality to oneself, that we need to, I think, kind of harness and bring forth and celebrate a little bit more, rather than it being something that's frowned upon. And So it's a really, really hard subject to talk about for parents to have a conversation with their children. And so I understand that. I think it's gonna take a while to get there. Um, and by no means am I saying that we need to be super sexual beings, but we need to just understand what that sexuality means to us as we grow. So I just feel like it's really great to have those conversations at appropriate times with your children. So when our sacral is in balance, we are able to express our creativity. We are in touch with pleasure. We're able to share and express our feelings in healthy ways. And we create and maintain healthy relationships. And we are connected to the emotional aspect of sexuality in ways that sustain us. We also feel at peace with our abundance. And with that, we're also more empathetic, and we also have a healthy relationship to money, and we can also easily cultivate abundance in balanced ways. When our sacral is in balance, we feel that creative ability. So we want to create, we express ourselves more freely. We're more in tune and touch with our own pleasure. We have healthy relationships, like I said, and we feel just more connected to our full self. Um, so, one thing that you can do to connect with your sacral is to start doing something creative, right? So, think of things that little kids do as creativity. Play with some clay or some Play Doh. Get a coloring book. Go buy yourself an adult coloring book or a little kid's one. Who cares? Get a princess coloring book. Get some crayons and just color and just create. Have a day of playing and connecting with your inner child and letting that child just color and create. Um, the sacral chakra also loves movement. So there are, again, plenty of yoga moves on YouTube that are hip openers that will help you open up the sacral. Again, happy baby, back to the root, pigeon pose, doing cobbler's pose or frog. So all of these are really beautiful ways to kind of just open up the hips. We're opening up the sacral, and this will help allow emotions to flow. I don't know if you've seen, it's kind of a big thing right now. There's a trend of somatic workout training or somatic workouts. And what it really means is somatic is connecting with oneself, connecting to the body. And the workouts are really just yin yoga poses. So we're holding a pose and we're allowing space for emotions to come forward that haven't been there before, or they've been there, we just haven't noticed them. So that's kind of what we want to look for when we're looking for healing. So we don't want to do like one of those quick yoga classes, or we're not looking for, a hot yoga session. You want to go slower, more intentional, kind of sit in a pose for a couple minutes, really feel, and then do some journaling around what's coming up for you. Please reach out if you do start wanting to do this, so we can walk through it together, because I want to make sure that you feel safe and comfortable when you do that. So we want to be slow and gentle with our sacral. We need to reclaim our right to feel. It is our right to feel, absolutely. And I want you to get in touch with the idea that it's okay for you to have boundaries and for you to actually feel your emotions. You can also let creativity flow through other aspects, through journaling, through baking, through sewing. It doesn't have to be coloring. It can really be anything, gardening. So find ways that creativity just sparks joy for you. The one emotion that comes up a lot within the sacral chakra is guilt. So it's super important that we start working through guilt and working through the emotions of guilt. So we're going to do that through journaling and self-expression, and exploring where that guilt comes from and what's happening with the guilt. We can also, you can also work with me and we can do some timeline therapy to help clear that off of the timeline as well. Super impactful. It's been really cool to watch that evolution for people. Um, and we can also do just some inner child work and connecting with the inner child to help release the guilt as well. So when we also find more balance and when we connect more deeply with that root chakra, we're going to explore your sexual self in helping you heal. If you do have sexual traumas, I do want you to please seek advice from a qualified therapist that's able to help you with this. I do recognize that we might have blocks because of sexual traumas in the sacral, and I am not a therapist, but I would absolutely recommend working with somebody who has expertise in this area so that you can really find healing in that aspect, in that space. Find whatever makes you feel comfortable. So kind of the fun part, foods. The foods that are really great for the sacral are water. So it's our sacral is our um, water element. So it's a very water focused energy center, hence emotions. And oranges, papayas, squash, sweet potatoes, again, anything orange, especially something that's more rooted and deep and hearty, because that is a part of that sacral too, is connecting with that sacral. Some crystals that you might want to use. So crystals for healing would be the carnelian, amber, moonstone, coral, sunstone. And then you can also use smoky quartz as well, and just regular quartz. Those help transmute any emotions that are coming up. So essential oils that you could use for this chakra would be lemon and patchouli, sandalwood, and rosewood. Those are very beautiful healing. You can make roller balls or just use them when you're doing a meditation and connecting with the sacral. So the sacral is, again, all about abundance and releasing guilt, connecting with your creative self and your sensual and sexual self. So, but again, if you've been through trauma, please seek a therapist because this one is a little bit sticky when it comes to healing it for ourselves or doing the work on ourselves. We can get stuck in this one. So it's really good to have an ally, somebody that can be with you through that journey. But for today, and just to check in, now again, if you've had trauma within this chakra, it might be really hard to connect with it, and that's really okay. I don't expect you to feel super connected with it right away. But if you feel uncomfortable as I take you through this little meditation, you can back off, you can open your eyes, you don't have to participate. So don't push yourself. I want you to be gentle and take your time. And if it feels okay, you can continue and touch in. So I want you to go ahead and just take a breath. We're going to sit in our space, take a nice big deep breath in, and let it go. And take another nice deep breath in, and we're going to breathe all the way down. Bring that breath all the way down to your sacral. So that sacral is right below the belly button, where if you're a woman, where your uterus would be, right in that lower belly. And breathing out, just releasing any tension within the body. And now I want you to bring that awareness all the way down. As you breathe, we're just going to breathe into that lower belly. If it helps, you can place your hand on that space and hold that space. And as you breathe into it, you can just notice, can you connect with this chakra? Do you feel a connection with it? Just get curious for a second. Do you sense a color? Can you see any orange color in that space? Or do you feel emotions that are coming up? maybe you just sense and feel, maybe you just feel some energy. Maybe you feel nothing at all, and that's okay. And as you connect down into this sacral chakra, I want you just to say to yourself, I feel. I feel. Very good. Now I want you to take a deep breath in. Let it go. And just come back into your moment. You can open your eyes and just notice, how do you feel? Did you feel like you could connect with the sacral, or was it difficult? If you want, go ahead and journal and write down how you're feeling, connecting with the sacral. Maybe do a little journaling of how you feel about healing and connecting with the sacral. Do you feel like this is going to be really difficult? Do you feel like it'll be easy? Do you feel like you're connected already and your sacral's great? One thing that I do want to add in is that our chakras are never going to be completely 100% fully aligned, all of them at the same time for a long period of time. It's not going to happen. We are humans experiencing human experiences on this earth. And so we are always going to have disruptions and triggers within each chakra system that will cause dissonance. So just know that we're not here to create anything perfect. I don't like that word. We're not here to um, have complete alignment or enlightenment. We are not at that space yet. We are not Buddha or Gandhi or Jesus. We are just simple beings, and we're here to do little bits by little bits of connecting and healing. So just know that this is not a one all, let's just do some work and it's going to be healed. This can take many, many years, many lifetimes. And it can also, you can also have a beautiful healing space for weeks or months, but have disruptions as well. But what's beautiful is once you start the healing process, it's much easier for you to come back to a homeostasis within that chakra rather than it being so dissonant and having such a disconnect as you continue to evolve. So I hope that helps you understand a little bit about the healings within the chakra as well. Now, if you have any other questions about the sacral, jot them down or email me and let me know. And we will talk about them on Saturday. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Connect with that sacral, do a little dance, do some yoga, open up the hips, get creative, go do something creative and fun. And I can't wait to talk to you more about all the chakras at the end of the week, but I will send you a video tomorrow on your solar plexus. Have a great day.